A GOP representative who's running for Senate in Georgia just got caught at a hot mic saying the quiet part out loud. Listen to this.
The Epstein files. Do you think Trump's in there?
Yeah, I'm sure he's in there because he's the one that was telling the FBI about it. He's the one that kicked the guy out of Mar-a-Lago and then called the FBI. Yeah, he's in there.
So, what's going to happen? Are you going to vote to release him, or vote to keep him?
Oh, we need to release him.
You want to vote to release him?
Yeah, I have no problem releasing, but you've got to go through the judicial. We all know that.
So that is Representative Mike Collins there saying, yeah, no, obviously Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, which is true. It is obvious. It might not be honest to people who watch Fox News because they don't know anything about the Epstein files because there's a total blackout on talking about it. They know a lot about Sydney Sweeney's jeans, admittedly. They know a lot about Cracker Barrel, but they don't know anything about one of the most obvious and fumbling and bumbling political cover-ups in living memory. But I do think that while it's good, I guess, that Mike Collins can admit it and say, probably lying, that he will vote to release the files. The idea that Trump is only in the files because he informed on Epstein, that's what Mike Collins would have you believe. Yeah, he was the one that went to the FBI and talked about Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, so look, we shouldn't have to respond to that because that's obviously ridiculous. And this is yet another, I won't say baby boy because I don't want to offend Sharon. This is another idiotic, dumb donkey of a supposed man pretending to believe that. But let me just say, if Donald Trump had warned the FBI about Epstein, and that's how they got Epstein, do you think that Donald Trump would ever stop saying that? He would be asking for the Nobel Peace Prize as a result of that. So no, Mike Collins, that's not what happened. He's in the files because he was Epstein's best friend for decades, and many of the people that testified about Epstein had interactions with Donald Trump. It doesn't mean that Donald Trump's inclusion in the files link him to criminal activities or anything like that, but he's gonna pop up in there because he was one of Epstein's best friends for the better part of my entire life. It's not because he was informing on him, it's because he was in his social circle and they had similar interests. Anyway, we'll see if this ends up hurting Mike Collins. I don't know what the standards are in Georgia at this point for a Republican, Sharon, but what do you make of this?
I can tell you they're not high. I think this could have even been a setup. I think this is a fake hot mic. Let me kiss his butt, okay? I think this was sanctioned and approved, perhaps. Okay, Trump's telling everybody else, stop talking. We're still talking about this, except for Ghislaine Maxwell saying, nothing inappropriate ever did I see with this president. Might I say admire him for what he's achieved. We have the Access Hollywood tape. You mean to tell us nothing? You saw nothing ever? So I don't know. Maybe I'm just too far into this thing, but this guy, get out of here.
Yeah.
Go sit down. Go sit down.
By the way, if we just zoom out a little bit to this thing, I think most people understand. I think we came to this conclusion the last time we talked about it. The utter the deferential submission of the supposed, and never use the term independent to refer to the right-wing media without doing this, because they're just unpaid employees of the Trump campaign. They're not paid by Trump, they're paid by right-wing billionaires, to be clear. Every one of them was like, yeah, no, we care about the kids and we love Trump, but we're gonna stay on this story. Remember Charlie Kirk? Immediately turned away from it. Immediately talking about anything else they can talk about. All that stuff about saving the children and fighting the PDF files and all that. As soon as it was their side that was in the crosshairs, they did exactly what a bought and paid hack pretend set of journalists would do. And so I think that it's largely succeeded. I mean, the Democrats they don't have the power to force the documents to come out. Donald Trump just says it's stupid, you don't have to pay attention to it. The right-wing media literally doesn't even all these super suspicious things about behind the scenes, all these sources saying that Donald Trump is bad-mouthing the victims, all that stuff. None of the right-wingers are seeing any of that news because Fox News isn't talking about it. The independent right-wing media isn't talking about it. And so most people, I think, have actually moved on. And some people's opinion of Donald Trump will have been changed because this was so obvious and offensive and all that. But most of the rest of them, at the end of the day, they proved themselves to be what we feared they were. They're just tribal partisans, that's all. They could go years of pretending to care about children being, trafficked by elites or whatever. It turns out it's their elites doing the trafficking and they prefer being a part of that club to sticking to their supposed values. That's what it seems like coming out of it. Now, there are way more people that say that Trump has handled the case poorly than have handled it well. But there's 18% of the country that says he's handled it excellently. Excellently. What is it? What exactly has he done that's excellent? He moved her into a minimum security prison. Is that excellent? Is that great? Is that wonderful? Hunky dory? I don't know. I mean, he hasn't released the documents. We know that he's in it. He's never met up with the victims. He's never said anything nice about the victims or bad about Maxwell or Epstein. They still haven't released the 3 minutes of that tape that we find out was not actually necessarily cut out of it. They just edited it. We're never going to see that, by the way. 18%. I mean, I guess that 18% of the country is like literally RNC members. I don't know. Any final thoughts before we close?
No, I just think, listen, these Epstein files and everything that went down, it'll come to light eventually. It could be 10 years from now before we find out everything. And that's on everybody, not just Trump. Okay, and what went down at Mar-a-Lago and the salon and all of it. We'll learn it. But as you said, people have moved on. I thought that the National Guard issue might help usher in some breathing room. And I think it's true. People have said, well, I think we're out of here. I do think if they take your idea, though, of running against him and bringing up JD, you were one of the people who covered up that. I like to give it new life, but it's just sad at this point.
Maybe. Yeah, they can't hit Trump on it, but maybe they can hit some of the others, like when Pete Hegseth tries to run for president or whatever.
Bondi.
Or Bondi or whatever. Yeah, maybe we have that to look forward to.